Hello! Since kimchi making is a 2-day process, I have made this video to show you the first day. About selecting your cabbage, when you go to the store, there's going to be choices. And what you should do to pick the best one is to feel this little section down here. And if it's too soft compared with the other ones, then don't get it. Get the ones with the hardest, I don't know what you call this part. And when you pick up the cabbage, if it feels a little heavy, then that's good because it has a lot of water in it. The old ones, they're a little more dry and then they're lighter. So just feel them and compare them with each other. This particular head of cabbage is about 3 pounds and this one is about 2. So I'm going to try to show this recipe for 5 pounds of kimchi. And the first day of making kimchi is salting. Ground salt, coarse ground sea salt of any brand. If you get a salt that is too finely ground, it will not rinse out well, and then your kimchi will be too salty. Some people cut their kimchi, their cabbage from the top here, and I used to do that, but then I found that I just like the pieces all in one. So what I do is I peel them off like this. And you can see that this has some bug bites in it. If you want to discard this, you can. I don't discard them. I think they're important. And so you just take them off one by one by one by one, all the way down to the bottom. And what I usually do is I'm rinsing them as I am taking them off, but I don't want to make too much noise. Anyway, I'll be back when I peel these all down. So now we're getting down to the middle of the cabbage head, and you can just continue to peel them down like this, you know, and rinsing them as you go. And then I usually, about this size, I stop salting because I'll show you what I mean. Anyway, these smaller pieces you can just set over on the side because they're going to be for something else. Now what I do to make the salt easy to grab is I just put it in a bowl, approximately how much you think you're going to use, because you know, you don't want to get your salt wet. So the ones you're not going to use, you want to keep off to the side. And anyway, you take your cabbage leaf here, and I have this big silver bowl that I got from my mother-in-law, and you grab a little bit of salt, and you drop it onto the hard part of the cabbage leaf. You don't need to put any salt here because it'll absorb some of the salt that's just kind of in the area. You don't have to measure it or anything. You just do that and you just continue to add them. See, some are different sizes. Like, I like to do that size. Maybe some people would think that's too small. But if you don't separate them the way I've shown you here, what you end up having to do is kind of open the cabbage in order to drop some of the salt down in, and I just find that that's way too inconvenient. But in this way you don't have heads of cabbage, and some people like that, you know, because it's all one piece. Anyway, I'll be back when I've salted all of it. You will have these smaller pieces that are really not worth salting individually. So what you can do is you can save them and use them in the blender, which I'm going to show you. I have this little bit different recipe that I do, probably different than Koreans, for basically making, instead of adding just plain water, to get the water out of the cabbage, which is really tasty. And then, you know, makes your kimchi more tasty. But anyway, or you can just set them underneath the cabbage leaves that you've already salted. And then as the water exits, it's going to be salty water, and it's going to get those ones a little bit salty. But after 8 hours, you set it here, whatever, wherever. If you have another bigger bowl or even a cloth, you can cover it. Cabbage has kind of a weird smell, so your house will probably smell weird. But anyway, cover it so no flies or dust falls on it. And then you're going to come back in 8 hours and rinse off the salt. Don't forget rinsing off the salt because otherwise you're going to have extremely salty unedible kimchi. And then you'll have wasted all that time. So I'll see you on day 2.